Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Norbert and it's been a while since I did one of these. I mean, for a while there we were becoming the generic headphone channel. But don't worry, we're back. So today we have a pair of Gorsun E80 Bluetooth on-ear headphones. And I've seen these floating around on various online stores like Jumia and such. And they go for the equivalent of about $20 US, maybe more, maybe less, depending on where you're buying them from. So like I said, these are on-ear headphones, meaning that the foam pad sits directly on your ear instead of going over them. And these aren't my favorite type of headphones. In fact, I don't think that the favorite type of headphones for a lot of people, mainly because of the way they hurt your ears after you use them for a while. So after about half an hour to 45 minutes of use, my ears do start hurting, not because of the clamp force, but just the way it awkwardly sits on your ear. So I found myself oftentimes trying to move it around and readjust the pressure to keep using, or maybe even taking a break. All right, let's get onto the design. It's a very simple design if you ask me. It's black with these silver rings, and on the left ear cup you've got just 3 buttons for your media controls, and on that same left ear cup you have a headphone jack, a micro B USB port for charging, a memory card slot, so a micro SD card slot, a microphone for your phone calls and such, and an LED indicator light that has to be one of the most annoying LED indicator lights. But then again, headphones in this category do have annoying LED indicator lights. Some of the documentation I found about these headphones online claim that they are noise cancelling, like this one on AliExpress. However, in my testing I found out that they really aren't, and that's judging purely based on the fact that I can still hear people fine when I'm wearing them, and the battery life is also excellent, which isn't the case with cheap headphones and noise cancelling. They do a decent job of isolating you from the outside world, so that's good, and they also fold up, which is good for carrying. This is the part where I would talk about the specs usually, but I can't, and that's because I can't find a clear spec sheet for these headphones. Depending on which website you look at, you're going to get different specs. Even on the company's actual website you can't find the specs for these. So the only thing I can tell you for certain is that it has Bluetooth 4.1, and if you check on other websites then you get stuff like its impedance of 32 ohms, but really who cares about that? There's not even a quoted battery capacity. The only thing they have is a quoted Apple style, this number of hours of use, but more on that later. All right, let's talk about the build. So these are made entirely of plastic, and while plastic isn't the worst material to make headphones from, and I think most of the headphones actually out there use plastic, but we all know that not all plastic is made the same. And with headphones and pretty much any other product, the price you pay is directly proportional to the quality of plastic you're going to get. And these, while they're not as bad as the Lenovo headphones plastics, they're not as good as the Oraimo headphones plastic, so they fall somewhere in between. By the way, if you want to check out my videos on the Lenovo and the Oraimo, click the top right hand corner and you get to see those. Apologies for the poor quality, by the way. I've been using these for about 3 months now, and that's quite an extensive time to test the product before reviewing it. But unfortunately, I don't think it's enough time to give you the durability of headphones, as pointed out in my Lenovo video. The problem is, when someone buys a pair of headphones, they're usually looking for something a bit more than just cheaper wired earphones. With that in mind, you expect something to last at least a year and a half, maybe even 2 years. Headphones are not something people change all the time. But judging from my experience with these, I don't quite expect them to last that long. And that's because when I put these on, sometimes I can hear audible cracking and I can see cracks forming around the headband. So I don't expect these to last that long. The foam pads are actually quite soft, which is really nice because if they were any harder on ear headphones, then using them would be next to unbearable. The leather material is also quite soft and doesn't irritate me at all. And so far it's been wearing well, although that could change down the line. Luckily you can take them out and get new foam pads, but I don't know where you'd find replacement foam pads for the headphones. Alright, the most important part of any headphone review is how they sound, right? So after use, the mids to highs are well accounted for and they do not sound distorted, so there's no muddiness, there's no muffled tinny sound. They sound alright for most people, I think. The bass, however, is where I find a lot of these cheap headphones fall short. Now these aren't as flat as the Lenovo's, by the way, check out that video, but they also are not where I'd like them. I like a good bass, and while these are there, they could do with a bit more. Of course, this is something that you could easily tweak in your equalizer, but I don't think most people are going to be doing that. So out of the box, you'll find these to be lacking a bit of bass. Now, when it comes to these cheaper headphones, you'll also find that when you're using them in Bluetooth mode and they are powered, then the bass and some sound actually comes back, so you get a richer experience. But with these, whether I'm using them with the aux cable or using them in Bluetooth mode, the sound generally just stays the same, so you don't get extra bass for that. Overall, these are perfectly serviceable. You should be fine with what you're getting for the price. It's not the best sound, obviously, but for this price, you can't fault it too much. Finally, let's talk about the battery. As I mentioned, there is no quoted battery capacity for these, even on the company's website. However, they have an Apple style this number of hours of use. So they're quoting 20 hours of audio playback and 12 hours of talk time, which might be backwards. Maybe they're saying when you combine the two numbers, you get what, 32 hours of use. It's all very confusing, but I can happily report that if you're using this in normal situations, so listening to music, maybe watching some content, you can easily push this for 2 days without having to charge them again. So that's good. At least the battery is an area they didn't skimp on, and you won't have to be worrying about charging them all the time, which doesn't take all that long. I think it's about an hour to fully charge it, maybe more, maybe less. Okay, let's wrap up. Would I recommend these? I'm more in the camp of if you have a bit more to spend, you're better off buying slightly more expensive headphones, but ones that have better battery life, better sound quality, and maybe even noise cancellation. But if you are in a pinch and you have no other option, then I'd say you can take the chance and buy one of these. But don't expect them to last. But if you think about it, 20 US for over a year is actually quite cheap. So, you know what, if you have to, just buy it. Or maybe if you want to buy it for kids, then this is perfect because they break stuff. But anyway, that's been it for me. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed the review, give it a thumbs up, get subscribed, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss when I post new videos. And I'll see you on Tuesday.